You may be asking yourself, how do I write a good conclusion? Well, lucky for you, I've made this video just for you so that you can be successful in writing your conclusion for our essay. So let's take a look at this. So, when you're writing a conclusion, I think personally that this is one of the trickiest parts of writing an essay as opposed to just plugging in your evidence and then adding some transitions. But writing a conclusion is a little bit of a creative enterprise, and I'm going to give you a foolproof plan. And by the end of this presentation, I can guarantee you that you will have the makings of, at the very least, a passing conclusion for almost any essay you could ever want to write. So, what's the point of a conclusion? It helps to wrap up your essay and your writing. So, whether that be a 3 paragraph essay or a 5 paragraph essay, maybe even 1 paragraph, you need to have some kind of concluding sentence or statement there. So, it restates your main points in your thesis, but differently. And I think for a lot of writers, including myself when I was in college and so on and so forth, I think that that's one of the more difficult parts is to try to say exactly what you've said already, but without sounding redundant. It lets your reader know that you're ending the essay so that they don't have something that's coming next and what to expect. But it should not include any new information. So only recap information you've already shared. So if you find a really good quote from your evidence and you're like, wow, I want to put that in my essay, the conclusion is not the place to put that because you should put that in your body paragraph. And finally, it gives the reader something to think about with regard to your take on whatever it is that you're writing about. So, first of all, and I just used a transition right there by saying, first of all, you need to include some sort of concluding transition. So, all in all, to sum up, in summary, in conclusion. And you might or might not find some different, more complex transitions as you move along in your writing, but these are all tried and true methods of starting off your concluding paragraph. So when you restate your main points and your thesis, like I said, that this can be tricky and you don't want to sound redundant, but you want to break those points up into separate sentences. So I've already said sentence number one, concluding transition, restating your main overall point. And then sentences two, three, and four. What? We've already got 4 sentences just by breaking your main points from your thesis, which should have 3 points in it, into separate sentences. So look, most teachers will tell you that a paragraph is 5 or 6 sentences, right? Well, we just came up with 4 right off the bat, and we didn't even really do anything yet. It's not that hard. So this kind of takes some of that guesswork out of it. And finally, sentence number 5, sometimes sentence 6, if it stretches a little bit, you want to look to the future or make it relevant to the reader. So this makes everything that you've discussed connected to the person who's reading it. And these could be general statements that relate to your topic, but also give the audience something to think about, like something like, in the future, it is easy to see why, or so on and so forth. But the whole point of writing an essay is that you are trying to reach your audience in the first place, and you are trying to make them think about what it is that you just discussed for however many paragraphs or however many pages when you're writing a longer essay, right? So that's why this is really good, and it gives a sense of finality at the very end. So here we go. I hope you're ready. This is my super duper conclusion writing method that has never failed me, and it always works out. And I think that if you use this in all of your classes moving forward, when you're writing an essay in history or so on something in college, maybe this will, at least, at the very least, if you're stuck on writing a conclusion, like I always felt like I was, then this will help get you out of a jam. So I've already written this out, and you are free to take this and alter it to your own persuasion for our Mrs. Stevenson essay. So, transition and claim. In conclusion, Mrs. Stevenson has many characteristics or character traits in the play. Sorry, wrong number. That's sentence one. Sentence number two. For one thing, she is, and then I just would insert my first character trait. Let's say I was going to say she's rude. First, for one thing, she is rude. Period. Furthermore, she also shows that she is impolite, period. Sentence number 4. But lastly, the audience also sees that she is caring and determined because she tries to solve a murder. Boom. That's sentences 1 through 4 that we just talked about. Now let's get to the tough part, which is finishing up with those last 1 or 2 sentences. So, this is our look to the future and making it relevant to the reader, right? This play does a great job of showing the many sides of Mrs. Stevenson, the character. What? I've already got 5 sentences. I'm almost there. Moving forward, it is easy to see how other people in a similar situation may react. And here you might say differently or similarly. So I'm giving you that free range, but also giving you a structure to write within. So maybe you say, may want to react in a more kind fashion so that they learn a lesson about what they were supposed to do. Or be more polite. I'm sorry, I'm rambling now. So be more polite, may react differently so that they are more polite to the police so that someone will help them when they're in trouble in order to hopefully avoid the same problems that Mrs. Stevenson had to go through. So you need to be a little bit creative, like I say at the bottom of this slide, but you can see right here, I've just given you a skeleton for how to write your conclusion, and it is foolproof. I promise you, if you use this template, you will get a good grade on the conclusion portion, at least in my class, whenever you write an essay. And here are some don'ts. Don't include new information. I already talked about that. So I'm kind of wrapping up before I leave. See what I'm doing here? I'm concluding my presentation. So don't include anything new. Do not end with thank you for reading this essay, or this is my essay, thank you for reading. That is why I think that my name is so and so and thank you for reading it. And do not ever write the end at the end of your essay, because that would be the wrong way to wrap up your writing. And to be quite honest, it's the wrong way to wrap up a presentation too. So if you're ever doing a slides presentation for me, that would also not be the way to properly finish it. So, you see what I'm doing here? I'm showing you all the things not to do at the very end, because this is the end. So thanks for watching my presentation, and obviously I'm Mr. Haycraft, and this is how you write a good conclusion. But do not use any of the information on this slide right here for writing a conclusion, because I will freak out if you do, because this is the exact wrong way to do it. Have a good day.